Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG, we're getting results in your neighborhood now at 6 a.m.
Now on News 6 Mornings, a federal investigation underway after a drone show mishap in downtown Orlando. A young boy badly hurt after some of those drones fell from the sky.
Plus, a deadly shooting in the middle of an Orange County neighborhood. The new details we're learning about the victim.
And millions of Americans set to head to the airport today as they fly out for the holidays. The delays Mother Nature is causing in some parts of the country. Well, good morning on your Monday at 6 a.m. I'm Crystal Moyer.
And I'm Lewis Bold, and Bridget and Trooper Steve have the day off. We'll have a check of the roads in just a moment. But first, let's get over to meteorologist Julie Broughton, who is in for Candace. And Julie, the cooler temperatures. It was nice to be able to wear a jacket over the weekend, but they are moving out.
Right, it felt festive for finishing up shopping or whatever you have going on this weekend, but those warmer temperatures, if you've been outside yet this morning, you are already feeling them. And I know everybody, this is what you want to know, that Christmas outlook. So we're just going to go ahead and give this to you first. We can expect a high of 75 for your Christmas Eve tomorrow. And then that warming trend continues and will be even a little bit warmer than normal for your Christmas Day with a high of 77 degrees. And we are keeping a 20% chance of showers in the forecast every day this week, especially for those of you along the coast. Here's what it looks like for you on the radar right now as we are scanning out here at 6 o'clock, where we are seeing some of those showers out over the Atlantic brushing the coastline in Brevard County, and that will be the case for us throughout the morning and the rest of the day. This is what it looks like over downtown Orlando. Really pretty shot from our Light Orlando Delivering Hope Together camera, where you are sitting at 55 degrees with winds coming in out of the north. We're about 5 to 15 degrees warmer than we were 24 hours ago. Sunday was a very cool start for most of us, especially up in areas like Marion County. You're at 51 right now in Ocala. The Villages, you are also waking up to 51. 63 in New Smyrna Beach. Sanford, you're at 56, and it is 60 for our friends in Mico. We will go today to a high in the normal range in the low 70s. We will break that down for you hour by hour and take a look at the next 7 days coming up. But first, let's get a check of the roads.
Julie, we're following two crashes. The first one in Brevard County. This one just cleared as far as the lanes go, but you might see some flashing lights along Pineda Causeway and Estuary Boulevard in the Grand Haven neighborhood. Just make sure you watch out for that. Also in Orange County, a wreck with injuries along OBT and Land Street Road. You might pump your brakes just a little bit as you're passing by with the flashing lights, but other than that, you're looking pretty good along I-4 east and westbound in the Metro Orlando area. Here's a live look with the DOT cameras at I-4 and Anderson Street with plenty of space to move around.
This morning, the FAA has now taken over the investigation into this drone show mishap in the skies over Orlando. Yeah,
it was supposed to be a festive holiday show. Instead, something went horribly wrong. Drones just started falling from the sky there, one of them hitting and badly injuring a 7-year-old boy. It happened Saturday night after large crowds had gathered for the show around Lake Eola downtown. News 6's Mark Lehman is following the latest developments. And Mark, we know that little boy ended up in intensive care.
Yeah, we've been in contact with the child's mother, who tells us he was rushed into surgery yesterday and has a long road to recovery. It was a terrifying situation for the family here at Lake Eola over the weekend, and there are a lot of questions about what went wrong. Now, we know drone shows like this one are supposed to be highly regulated with a special waiver filed with the FAA. Now, we asked the agency if a waiver was filed for this specific show, and so far the FAA is not confirming, only saying it's investigating what happened. For now, reporting live at Lake Eola in downtown Orlando, Mark Lehman, Getting Results, News 6.
Mark, thanks. And we've been doing some digging into the company behind the drone show. Sky Elements is based in Texas, but does shows across the country for a variety of events. They put on last year's holiday drone show in Orlando, and according to their website, broke a Guinness World Record with their show over the convention center during this year's IAAPA Expo. Their website also talks about safety, saying they ensure every system has a backup and fail-safe, and that they plan every show with safety first. We posted the company's full statement on the mishap on clickorlando.com. There you can also get another look at the video showing the whole thing. Just look right on the homepage.
We're waiting for Orange County deputies to tell us if they have any suspects after a weekend shooting leaves a man dead. It's an update to a story we first brought you yesterday morning as breaking news. Investigators say a man in his 40s was shot around 9 Saturday night along Hungerford Boulevard near Samuel Street. The victim was rushed to the hospital but died a short time later. At this point, detectives have not said what led up to the shooting or if a gunman is currently on the run. New this morning, a man police say is responsible for a deadly shooting in Orlando last week won't be getting out of jail. A judge denied bond for Carlton Seeley yesterday. Investigators say the 51-year-old shot and killed Jerome Thomas last Wednesday at an apartment complex along Ivy Lane. In addition to murder charges, Seeley is also facing fraud and home invasion charges.
So much history. And turning back to weather, after a cool weekend, a warm-up is on the way,
Yes.
Julie, but still nice weather, but we won't necessarily need those sweaters.
Right. It will be a pleasant week, so it'll be nice for all of the plans that you have going on this week. Now, do keep in mind, we are tracking some isolated showers. I think most of us stay dry for most of the week, but we'll keep rain chances around 20% for the next several days. Temperatures are on the rise. In fact, by Christmas Day, we'll actually be a little bit warmer than normal, and I do think tomorrow morning and Christmas morning, we could be dealing with some areas of patchy fog. Right now, though, our visibility is good for our Monday morning. Here's what it looks like for you right now on the radar, where we are seeing some areas of rain out over the Atlantic. Some of these showers have been brushing our coastline, but most of us are staying dry out there. Here's how it looks right now on our Launch Credit Union camera in Port Canaveral. Sunrise is around 7:15, so about an hour away. 63 degrees right now. You do have some showers officially reported out there in Port Canaveral right now. If you are in areas like DeLand, you're checking in at 55, a little bit cooler as we go farther inland, 51 in the Villages, 50 in Wildwood. If you are in Melbourne, you are at 60 degrees, and we'll see our afternoon highs today back in the normal range, generally in the low 70s. We will break that down for you hour by hour and take a look ahead to your Christmas Eve and Christmas Day forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Julie, thank you. The time now is 6:10, and we've all seen them, and many have used them when it comes to choosing a company to do business with.
But how reliable are those online reviews? Coming up, the warning a former federal investigator is giving about those 5-star reviews.
But first, new details surrounding a terrifying scene at a Texas mall. We'll tell you what investigators are now saying about a suspect who crashed into a JCPenney store, hitting several shoppers.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Orlando Health.
It's the hottest toy this Christmas.
Hi!
The Miss Rachel doll. But are you getting the real deal? Next Inside Edition.
Tonight at 7:30 on News 6.
Just a terrifying scene over the weekend at a Texas mall. Now we're learning new details about the man police say crashed into a JCPenney store, injuring at least 5 shoppers before being shot and killed. This was the scene at the Killeen Mall Saturday, one of the busiest shopping days before Christmas. Investigators say troopers were chasing 53-year-old John Darrell Schultz after he refused to pull over for a traffic stop. About 19 miles into that pursuit, detectives say Schultz veered into the mall parking lot, crashed his pickup right into the front of that store, then tried to keep going.
Driving through the store, actively running people over. He traveled several hundred yards.
Troopers say a local police officer followed Schultz on foot through the store and ultimately opened fire, killing him. As for the 5 people who were hurt, investigators say the youngest was just 6 years old. Well, if you never received your stimulus check in 2021, you may want to keep a close eye on your mail. The IRS says it will be sending recovery rebate credits to about 1 million people, and the maximum payment is $1,400 per person. If you're eligible, you'll receive a letter in the mail. The IRS says you don't have to do anything and that the checks will go out automatically by the end of the month, either via direct deposit or by paper check. But once again, it's only for people who either didn't claim the credit on their 2021 taxes or didn't get the full amount. And some who did some, pretty hefty Christmas shopping, they're going to appreciate that.
Listen, that would be a nice little treat right now.
A little surprise,
Yeah.
right? Well, they've been playing on the radio since Thanksgiving, those Christmas songs. But do you know the Christmas songs most loved here in Florida?
According to Florida Bet, the top tune is Jingle Bell Rock. That's followed by Feliz Navidad, Santa Baby, and Silent Night. Rounding out the top 5, Last Christmas. However, on the national level, no surprise here, the top-ranked holiday song is All I Want for Christmas.
I don't want a lot for Christmas.
That is Crystal's
Let me
Mariah
stop.
Carey. You see that?
Beautiful.
I'm checking my IFB to make sure I'm on pitch.
Perfection.
And I thought Mariah was the Christmas queen.
That's some
We got
breaking
Crystal
news.
now. Exactly.
True story, okay? I was with Michelle. We sang on a video that we posted on Instagram, and one of you guys commented, "You were off key, but happy holidays."
At least they
Love
had a
you
nice
guys.
wish after that.
You know, that's fine. I don't claim to be a singer.
It surprises me the things people will say.
Yeah.
But Julie, get us out of this.
Julie's
We've got
like, I
some.
don't know.
That's right. We're all curious about our Christmas forecast. We are looking good as we move through the next couple of days. It was a chilly weekend. In fact, some of you were even in the 30s and 40s yesterday as we started things out. Today, we are mild and we will go back in the normal range, but we are keeping coastal showers around, not just today, but really just about every day through the next several days. For your Christmas Eve, we'll keep that warming trend around with some isolated showers. And by Christmas Day, we'll even be a little bit warmer than normal for our high, so we should be in good shape if you're having outdoor plans for the next couple of days. Here's how we're looking on the radar. Again, we mentioned those isolated showers. Some of these are more kind of moving parallel to the coastline, but we will keep about a 20% chance of a few showers around as we head through the next several days. Here's what it looks like outside right now. This is our Daytona Beach sky cam, where you are starting the day at 60 degrees with winds coming in out of the north around 10 miles per hour. 53 in Polk County, down in Winter Haven, Leesburg and Claremont both at 50 right now. 51 in Ocala, you're at 57 in Kissimmee, and 60 right now for our friends waking up in Micco. Here's how it looks for you for your hour-by-hour forecast. And oh my goodness, I'm going to have to use them again. I did them dirty. Okay, so I messed up on this graphic. There we go. You know, it's early, guys. Cinna, Callie, Juno, and Milo posing around their tree. They're all rescues and they're modeling their new pajamas. 61 degrees at 9 o'clock, 65 degrees at 10 o'clock. I am so sorry to these beautiful dogs for messing up that graphic. I'll use you again later. Satellite and radar imagery across the southeastern United States showing those showers over the Atlantic. That is because a little trough of low pressure keeping the focus for some of those showers. Clouds and rain forecast does keep some of that around as we move through the afternoon. So we stop the clock at noon. We'll start to see our winds shifting more out of the northeast. So that will help to slide some of those onshore. Some of them will make it inland. But again, where you see the light green, that's where we're talking about light rain. So we're not talking about anything heavy. We're not going to be dealing with any thunder and lightning as we move through the day. Then through the overnight hours, I do think we are going to be pinpointing some areas of fog both tomorrow morning and Christmas morning. Now, here's your pinpoint accurate forecast.
Sponsored by Strata Air Conditioning and Heating. AC emergency? You ought to call Strata.
Afternoon highs today are right in the normal range. We top out at 74 in Orlando and 72 for your high today in the Villages. Next 7 days showing for Christmas Eve, 75 for your high, up to 77 Christmas Day. And we keep it in the mid to upper 70s with overnight lows around 60 as we head into the weekend.
All right, Julie, thank you. The time now is 6:21, and another local police department is working to prevent post-holiday crime.
Yes, we're going to get to that story in just a moment, but let's talk about traffic here because we are dealing with a crash with injuries. This is over at Good Homes Road and Old Winter Garden Road, just south of the Ocoee area, blocking at least one lane. Heavy delays heading southbound. This is between the 408 and Good Homes Road. You're moving at about 10 miles per hour, so just make sure you allow plenty of extra time.
Another local police department is working to prevent post-holiday crime.
Yeah, at the bottom of the hour, where people will be able to dump boxes from those big ticket gifts.
This portion of the news is sponsored by the Flooring Center.
Welcome back. A consumer alert this morning ahead of Christmas as the price of eggs takes a big jump. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, a dozen large grade A eggs now cost an average of $3.65. That's up $1.13 from the start of the year. Experts say an outbreak of bird flu is the main reason for the price hikes.
Well, still to come on News 6 Mornings, a scary scene in downtown Orlando after a mishap at a holiday drone show.
That's right. Coming up, what we're learning about the 7-year-old boy who was badly hurt after several of those drones fell from the sky.
Love the arts? We've got you covered. Sign up for our Setting the Stage newsletter at clickorlando.com. Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG, we're getting results.
A 7-year-old is badly hurt after a holiday drone show over Lake Eola goes horribly wrong. We'll tell you what the FAA and the company behind the show are now saying about the investigation.
Plus, the Ethics Committee report into former Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz expected to be made public today, what it could reveal and why Gaetz insists he's done nothing wrong.
And breaking overnight, another successful rocket launch from SpaceX. We'll tell you what was on board the latest Falcon 9 to blast off from our coast. Good morning, Central Florida. I'm Lewis Bolden. Bridget has the day off.
And I'm Crystal Moyer. Thanks for staying with us on this Monday. We're going to start with a check of your pinpoint weather with meteorologist Julie Broughton, who's in for Candace.
Crystal, we are seeing a nice warming trend as we move into our holiday week. It was really chilly this weekend, but we'll see temperatures rebounding back into the low 70s today. We are tracking some isolated coastal showers. That will be the case for us just about every day this week. For your Christmas Eve, mild and pleasant. And on Christmas Day, we will be tracking a few of those showers and will be even a little bit warmer than our normal, going in the mid to upper 70s. Here's how we are starting our day. This is our Light Orlando Delivering Hope Together camera over downtown Orlando. We're in the mid 50s, sitting right now at 55 degrees, and we do have a decent amount of cloud cover hanging around just about everywhere. Now we're at 51 right now in the Villages. Kissimmee, you are at 57, 63 in Cocoa Beach, and you are checking in at 60 if you are in Palm Coast. Now your hour by hour forecast by 1 o'clock will be at 72 degrees on our way to a high of 74. Coming up, we'll talk more about your Christmas Eve and Christmas Day forecast and take a look ahead to the next 7 days.
And Julie, we are dealing with a crash with injuries in Orange County. This is just south of the Ocoee area. Good Homes Road and Old Winter Garden Road. At least one lane is blocked. Now, we have been seeing some heavy delays heading southbound on Good Homes Road, but it looks like things are starting to recover. Traffic moving at 30 miles an hour. Breaking overnight, SpaceX launches one of its last missions of the year, carrying another group of Starlink internet satellites into orbit. A Falcon 9 rocket blasted off at 12:35 a.m. and a few minutes after liftoff, the booster landed right on target on a drone ship off the coast. It's been a record-breaking year for launches, though. It looks like SpaceX will fall just short of its goal of 100 launches from our coast. Meantime, another SpaceX mission set for this weekend is now on hold. The launch was scrubbed just seconds before liftoff after teams discovered an issue with the rocket, and we'll let you know when a new liftoff time is announced.
The Volusia County Sheriff's Office is looking for a man they say ran off with tens of thousands of dollars in a solar panel scheme. Deputies say an Ormond Beach couple reported 36-year-old Stephen Scott collected more than $37,000 from them to install solar panels on their home, but never turned over the money to the company he worked for. He then quit and hasn't been heard from since. A judge signed a warrant for his arrest, but when deputies showed up to his last known address in Orlando, Scott had already moved out. If you know where Scott may be, or if you see him, you're asked to call Volusia Sheriff's Office.
It could be a big day on Capitol Hill, with sources telling CBS News the House Ethics Committee report on former Florida Representative Matt Gaetz will be released to the public.
And a big reversal, the committee voted last week to release that report after initially deciding it would be kept secret. The investigation focused on allegations of sexual misconduct and obstruction. Gaetz has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing, and no criminal charges were ever filed. Gaetz resigned from Congress after President-elect Trump said he planned to nominate him to be Attorney General, but Gaetz soon withdrew from consideration. In just hours, Luigi Mangione is set to be arraigned on state murder charges in New York. He is the man accused of gunning down United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson outside of a Manhattan hotel.
New this morning, the Coast Guard says it rescued 2 people and their dogs when their sailboat got stuck out at sea. They posted these pictures of crews towing the 48-foot sailboat near Palm Coast on Saturday. They say the vessel lost control of steering, leaving its passengers stranded miles away from land. Thankfully, everyone on board is fine. The boat was towed to St. Augustine. And Julie, you don't want to be stuck out there ever,
right?
In the water, right? But, the temperatures are beginning to be mild. And
yes.
Might be a good time to just go take a walk along the beach.
Yes, it's always nice to look at the ocean, take a walk on the beach. We are going to see really pleasant temperatures as we head through the next several days. Already seeing the beginning of that warming trend. Here's what it looks like for us this morning on our Lunch Credit Union camera out at Port Canaveral, sitting at 63 degrees. And we do have some isolated coastal showers hanging around. And we'll keep our rain chances around 20% as we move through the rest of our week. 55 right now in Orlando. If you're stepping out in Claremont, you're at 50. 47 up in Gainesville, 52 in Wildwood. It is 62 in New Smyrna Beach. And Cocoa Beach, you are checking in right now at 63 degrees. Now, we'll continue to see mild temperatures as we move through the next several days with some isolated showers. In fact, by Christmas Day, we'll actually be a little bit above normal. We'll break all of that down for you coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Julie, thank you. It is 6:40 a.m. and just a mixed bag for Florida's NFL teams.
Including a losing streak for my Jacksonville Jaguars. A recap of the action and the win in Miami that could be essential for the Dolphins' playoff aspirations.
But first, the shutdown narrowly averted in Washington after lawmakers reach a late-night deal on federal spending. We'll tell you the item left off the final agreement next.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Freedom Health Medicare Advantage plans.
We watch Channel 6 News every morning, and I'm like, okay, I got to give it a shot. They get results, absolutely get results.
Well, the Tampa Bay Bucks needed a win in Sunday Night Football to keep control of their playoff fate.
Unfortunately, it didn't happen.
Nope.
The Bucks ended their 4-game winning streak with the Cowboys taking home the victory last night, 26-24. It was a close one. The loss means the Falcons will need to lose at least one of their 2 final games to have a chance at the division title. The Cardiac Cats, we're talking about the Jaguars, not doing any better. They lost to the equally bad Las Vegas Raiders, 19-14. The Jags, they dropped to 3-12 for the season. One bright spot, though, yesterday, the Miami Dolphins, they also needed a win to keep their playoffs hopes alive. They got it, beating the 49ers in their final home game of the season, 29-17. And we'll cheer for any Florida team. It is all good.
Yes.
At least the Dolphins brought that win.
Well, at least the Magic, I saw them Saturday. They killed it. They won at the last minute.
Yeah.
So it's okay, Jags. It's all right.
Now, does that make up for your Jags?
Yes.
Okay, good.
You know, we'll get that
feeling
first,
better?
second round pick and...
Crystal's always so optimistic. I love it. I love it.
Yes, she is.
next year.
So is it over? Is football over?
You're asking me?
All I know
She
is
would know.
Beyonce at the Super Bowl,
right.
okay?
I think
No, not the Super Bowl. Christmas Day.
Christmas Day.
Oh.
The Beyonce concert.
Okay, I think that's our cue. They're rolling the weather open for us. They're like, let's just end this. All right, let's get to what I do know about. This is your Christmas outlook. 75 for your high on Christmas Eve, and Christmas Day will actually be a little bit warmer than normal, topping out at 77 degrees. We are keeping some isolated showers in the picture just about every day this week, especially for those of you along the coast. But we're seeing the beginning of our warming trend after a very chilly weekend. Here's a look outside for us. This is our Light Orlando Delivering Hope Together camera over downtown Orlando. Looking pretty out there. There is some cloud cover hanging around, and we will see some clouds this weekend. 55 degrees right now as we are starting things out in downtown Orlando. If you're waking up in Kissimmee, good morning to you. It is 57 degrees, 52 in Ocala, 62 right now for those of you in New Smyrna Beach, and sliding down into Brevard County, you are at 63 degrees right now at Cape Canaveral. Here's how it looks for you on the radar. We are seeing some isolated showers. Most of these aren't making it onshore, but we can't rule out a few of those showers moving inland over areas like Brevard County. We've already seen some of that this morning, and we'll keep some more around as we head through the day. Here is your hour-by-hour forecast featuring Walter. Look at Walter. He is ready for Christmas. I think he is such a handsome guy. 61 degrees at 9 o'clock, and by 10 o'clock, we will warm into the mid-60s. Again, expect just a few isolated showers throughout the day. That is thanks to a trough of low pressure right at the surface, and that is providing the focus to see some of those showers. Some of those will try to push inland, and we will continue to see that warm up. So no major fronts making their way into central Florida to bring us any big-time changes this week. Here's how it looks on your clouds and rain forecast. Stopping the clock at noon. Notice where you see the areas of green. That is where some light rain could hold together and move into our interior counties, but most of us stay dry for most of the day. We will keep some clouds around, and overnight tonight into tomorrow morning, I do think we'll see some areas of patchy fog. Now, here's your pinpoint accurate forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Freedom Health Medicare Advantage plans.
Expect a high of 74 today in Orlando. You'll go to 71 in New Smyrna Beach, 72 in the Villages. 7-day forecast showing 75 for your high on Christmas Eve, up to 77 for your Christmas Day. And we'll keep it in the mid to upper 70s after overnight lows in the 60s every day through the next 7 days. Now let's head to Crystal with a check of the roads.
I do have an update on a crash we've been following out of Orange County, just south of Ocoee. This one involving injuries at Good Homes Road in Old Winter Garden Road. We've been seeing some heavy delays on and off heading southbound on Good Homes Road, but it looks like that crash has been pushed off to the side and traffic is starting to recover. Moving at about 30 miles per hour right now, which is some good news there. We're also still following a wreck with injuries in Orlando. This is on OBT and Land Street Road. No delays to report there.
A child hospitalized after being hit by a falling drone. The incident now under investigation by the FAA. Next, as we check our big stories.
Discover the magic of color at Crayola Experience, Orlando's most colorful hands-on family attraction.
You have a story you want to share or a community issue you need resolved. The powerful Results Desk from clickorlando.com makes getting help simple. Just go to clickorlando.com and click in the corner for help. Getting results just got easier.
It is 6:53 on your Monday. Let's check our big story, starting with Mark Lehman and the latest on that drone show mishap over the weekend in downtown Orlando.
We now know a 7-year-old boy had to have emergency surgery yesterday after being badly hurt by a falling drone here Saturday night at Lake Eola. The drones were being used as part of a special holiday show when several of them came crashing down to the ground. The FAA has now taken over the investigation, but won't say at this point what, if any, safety review was done before the show began. The Texas company that put on the show put out a statement yesterday saying the well-being of their audience is of the utmost priority and that they're working with both the city and the FAA to figure out what happened. Lewis?
We're waiting to find out if deputies have any suspects after a deadly shooting in Orange County. The victim, a man in his 40s, was found Saturday night on Hungerford Boulevard and later died at the hospital.
And breaking news from Washington, where President Biden has just declared that 37 of the 40 inmates on federal death row will now get life sentences instead. Biden says he can't allow President-elect Trump to resume executions once he retakes office.
Nearly 24 more Starlink internet satellites are in orbit after an overnight rocket launch from SpaceX. The 12:35 a.m. launch was the 91st of the year along the Space Coast.
And a quick programming note, the talk on CBS has ended. So starting today, you can watch another episode of The Price is Right at 2 p.m. The Drew Barrymore Show will follow at 3, and then stay tuned for News 6 at 4.
We are seeing a few isolated showers, especially along our coastal areas like Brevard County. Expect about a 20% chance of some rain today, but we are mild as you are stepping out the door. 55 in Orlando, 60 in Melbourne, and you are 52 right now in Ocala. Temperatures today go back in the normal range. Look at Santa and your Christmas forecast, mid to upper 70s.
Love that, and a nice week ahead.
And taking a check with your traffic, there is a crash with injuries. This is on Good Homes Road in Old Winter Garden. This has been pushed off to the side, but we have been seeing some delays as you're traveling southbound on Good Homes Road. Just make sure you allow some extra time there. And we're also following another wreck, this one also involving injuries on OBT and Land Street Road. Just make sure you watch out for any of those flashing lights and law enforcement.
And thank you so much for joining us this morning. Remember, we break news on clickorlando.com.
You can also find all of our stories and podcasts on our News 6 Plus app for your TV.
CBS Mornings is next. Have a great day.
Here it comes.
Because of you, the insurance people decided that they're going to help. You did it. Channel 6 did it. And that I will say thank you.